everyone, welcome back to Shonky Lab. I'm Elton, and I'm joined today by my guest producer, Mr Pete Hammond.
Hello!
How are you, mate? You alright?
Not too bad, man. You?
Yeah, good. Yeah, this is I've pretty much just phoned you up, and now we're live doing this.
Pretty much. That's pulling the curtain back, but yep.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the way we roll around here. Yeah, we haven't even had much of a chance to say, how are you, and all that stuff. So, how are you, mate? Are you doing alright?
Yeah, not too bad. It's that busy period at work when I'm spending 10 or 11 hours a day sat on a quad bike in the scorching sun, so I've got some fantastic tan lines.
Ah, nice one.
So I wear, because obviously I'm pissing about with soil and all the rest of it, so I'm wearing gloves during the day, and I roll my sleeves up on my hoodie when I'm riding about. So I've just got like a 6-inch bit of really severe tan and brilliant white hands.
Oh, brilliant.
It's absolutely fun. And my legs are the same. I've just got this band because I wear shorts and I've obviously got boots on. So I've just got these two really, really tanned bits of my body, and that's it. It just looks ridiculous.
You're just very stripy.
Yeah, I went, went rugby training last night, and of course I wear shorter shorts and a t-shirt for that. And it just looks like, are you wearing lycra underneath? No, that's your arm. Okay, fine, fair enough.
Yeah, that's the way it is. I got seriously burnt at Silverstone at the weekend.
Of course you were there for the MotoGP, was it?
I saw the MotoGP, and it was Baco Keiko outside.
It was actually a decent bank holiday weekend for once, which was quite nice.
It was up to around about 40 degrees at some points.
Bleed now.
Yeah. It was roasting.
Okay, no, that is too hot.
As the good Englishman I am, I forgot to take, well, I didn't even forget to take, I just didn't bother even thinking about it, sun cream.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you at least wear a hat?
Oh, yeah, I wore a hat, yes. Yeah, I'm not that stupid crying out. Yeah, that I would end up with sunstroke. I know that for a fact. But I ended up, I've got slightly brown arms from driving around in a van most of the day. And I wore a shorter t-shirt than what I normally do.
Yeah.
So my white bits that don't normally get tanned are now red.
I was going to say, because you normally get, because if you wear slightly, or if the sleeve rolls up slightly, you get that really sensitive bit that's exposed, and you've just got like a centimetre of fucking rabid sunburn.
Yes. Yeah.
Where your t-shirt then rests.
Yep, that's right. And so I thought I'll try and roll it up and get the rest of my arms done. No, that didn't work out whatsoever. So I came away burnt on my arms. Nowhere else really, a bit red in the face. But I only noticed it when I got in the shower the next morning. And turned on the water and got under the water. It's like, I've got sunburn. Yes.
Yeah, that hurts. And doesn't matter what temperature it is either.
No, it can either be hot or cold. And the hot is burning and the cold is burning. As well. So, lesson learned. I'd like to say lesson learned. I'll probably do it again next year.
That's next weekend, probably.
Yeah, most probably, yeah. Yeah. I also have you to blame for getting into Black Sails as well.
Yes! How far in are you?
Season 3, episode 2.
Oh, it ramps up. It really ramps up.
There's not much left to go, though.
No, they stopped at 4 seasons. So I think there's, 40 hours of it all told?
Yeah.
But it's really, really good.
Yeah, and it is proper episodes as well, isn't it? So
yeah. It's not like it's not an HBO hour. It's a what's the company? Is it Stars or something? I'd never heard of them.
Stars.
But yeah, I absolutely love it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I blame you. Totally blame you.
I'm good with being blamed for that.
Yeah. Well, I'll be hitting Vikings after that as well.
I'm yet to start that one.
Right. Okay.
Still, it's one of those ones where I've still not got around to it. We kind of started off on. What's it called? The Man in the High Castle.
I dropped out of that because someone spoiled it for me.
Well, I think we got to episode 6 or 7, and it's probably us, I don't know, but we just didn't find it gripping enough. I mean, the concept I'm absolutely fascinated by.
Yeah.
It's just a real kind of, well, obviously I don't know the full story, so it might change, but, you know, it's that whole, what if we had lost the war? And it's quite an interesting concept, but it wasn't interesting enough.
Yeah, it does feel a bit watery at times.
It's a lot of filler, but not actually filling anything in.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how you feel, but I think I got 4 episodes in. I was quite enjoying it. It wasn't gripping me as, I need to see the next episode of that. That wasn't happening. And someone spoiled it early on. And just blatantly turned around and went, I don't care. This is what's happening. I went, okay. Maybe I might revisit that at a later date. So I'm not in there just yet. So maybe after Vikings. So
yeah, I say that's one way yet to jump into. Sons of Anarchy's another one that we're meant to. Well,
boring.
No good.
Boring. I got bored. I gave that 3 episodes and ducked out. That bored the crap out of me.
Oh dear.
It was just dudes walking into a bar. Right, okay, what's happening? Oh, let's go have a fight over there. And then they'd walk home and then, someone's having a fight. Okay, I'm going to bowl over there. It's just people bowling around. So many bowls and not enough fruit. What a shame. But it might be for you. I don't know. I think Ollie Peters is probably screaming at his phone right about now about this.
If he figured out how to listen to this.
Oh dear.
You right there?
Yeah, I've got a smoker's cough for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I blame you for black sales, so, screw you.
Good.
Yeah. So, what we're here today to do, we're here to talk about alcohol and, I don't know, some of our misdemeanors with it, I suppose, and stuff. We are giving away drinks in the chat room. And if people want to phone in, you're more than welcome to jump on the Skype and Skype Elton McManus, and you'll get through to us. I'll give me a second to Jimmy poker it, and then you can join us, and I can give away drinks that way as well. So if you have a specific drink you'd like to own, then stick it in the chat room, and I will deem that your drink. But before that, I have to ask Pete, what drink would you like to own forever and ever?
I am going to claim the Kangaroo. Now, this is a cocktail that we discovered when I was at university, way back in the mid-90s, and I've never seen it anywhere since.
Okay.
Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But basically, it's half a cider and black, which is your bog standard base layer for any student drink, I think you'll find.
Yes.
Half a cider and black, a shot of Advocaat, and a shot of Archer's.
Oh, Archer's. I haven't had that for a long time.
And it was a thing of joy and wonder. It was absolutely fantastic. It didn't curdle, which you'd think with the Advocaat it might.
Mm.
But it was ridiculous. You could drink them until like 4 a.m. and just, you wouldn't, it's like, it's a very childish alcohol, I suppose. A bit like Alka Pops, I suppose, really. That just didn't taste of alcohol. It just tasted of loveliness.
Is it
and
sweet?
Then it's really sweet. It's kind of, I'm not going to say thick, but it's kind of like, when you drink water and then you drink milk, it's that definite change in consistency.
Right,
and
okay.
It's got that kind of milky sort of feel to it. And you can drink them because it doesn't taste of alcohol. It just tastes like a normal sort of soft drink. Mm-hmm. But then you try and stand up and find your legs don't work. It's a fantastic piece of kit. It's lovely. We used to bolster them with tequila as well. And fucking hell, that was really good.
Yeah, that sounds good. Frog Stomper in the chat room is asking, what is a cider and black?
Cider and black is pretty much what it says on the tin. It's cider,
Yep.
So your ordinary kind of Strongbow or Thatchers or whatever you buy, these Bulmers, and black is just blackcurrant. So it's a shot of blackcurrant in a pint or half pint of cider.
Right.
And it's the most studenty. Well, I don't know if it still is, but it certainly back in the 90s, it was the studenty drink was cider and black.
I saw lots of people drinking that, but I never.
It was a very grunge drink, very grungy. It was sort of popular with your Pearl Jam and Nirvana set.
Mm-hmm.
As was Snakebite. Snakebite and black. That's another one.
What? Hang on. What's Snakebite and black?
Snakebite is half a cider mixed with half a lager. And then,
okay. And then a top of.
And then with a shot of blackcurrant in, if you fancy it.
Right. God. Oh, okay. Fine.
But all of these can be turboed up with a shot of vodka.
I think everything can't it?
Yeah, it's quite funny. If you ever drop a double tequila into a pint of Stella, it just tastes really bizarre. It's kind of like citrusy. But yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've ever drunk a double tequila, let alone in dropping one in a Stella. No.
I used to drink. I used to get a pint glass and half fill it with tequila, and then top it up with a tin of lemon Fanta.
Oh wow!
That was a good drink to have before you went out clubbing.
Yeah.
Because that was obviously like half a pint of tequila before we went out.
Jeez. That's
God, I sound like an alcoholic, and for a while I was.
Well, I think we've kind of got both ends of the spectrum here. Really, I'm not a massive drinker. I will have a can of beer at home, and that's every now and again. And when I go to the pub, I think, oh, this is a really good idea. First one goes down really quick. And then I slowly slow down for the rest of the evening. And maybe might hit 3. If I have a really good night, 4.
Blimey, Charlie.
I know. So, but I think we'll get into that very, very soon.
Yes.
Has anyone said anything about wanting a drink? I'm not buying. I'm just saying that you own them forever. Deacon Duck is saying Black Velvet. I don't know if that's him actually saying that he wants to own Black Velvets forever and ever. I'm not too sure. So let us know in the chat room what you want.
Black Velvet being Guinness with a glass of champagne in it?
Oh, God.
Or he'd been cheap and putting cider in it?
I don't. Well, okay, wait, he'll have to say in the chat room about that. I am Bugsy in Hooch. Because...
Oh, you child of the 90s.
Yes, because the shop down the road from me now sells Hooch again.
It's doing a comeback, isn't it?
Yep.
It's making a comeback.
It certainly is. So now, anytime Hooch is sold anywhere, I get the profits for that. You get
fantastic.
the profits from
Advocaat, Archers, and Blackcurrant and cider. Oh, I'm sorted around Christmas.
Yeah, well, if you see someone drinking that in the pub, you can go up to them and go, "That's mine. That is.
That's mine. That.
Yep. You're welcome."
On a sidebar, I did actually. It was on holiday somewhere. I think it was in Gran Canaria, and me and the girlfriend at the time, we thought, let's get absolutely fucked up. So we thought we'll order a couple of kangaroos. They'd never heard of it, so I said, look, it's a cocktail we used to drink at university. Blah 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 blah. And the barman goes, "Oh, all right, fine, fair enough." So he gets all the constituent parts and mixes it in a blender.
Oh.
And then goes, "Here you go." It was fucking horrible. It ruined it.
Oh, God, no.
It was very weird. It just something about, I suppose it's a shaken not stirred sort of thing with your martini cocktails and whatnot.
Yeah.
It was really weird. I mean, if you just chuck a load of Archers and a load of Advocaat and then just, all the rest of it just sits all right. But no, when he blended it up, it was really strange.
Oh,
Did not work.
No, people blending shit up. No, thank you. No.
I don't see the point in that. It's just like, no, you've ruined it.
No, I've done that with food for the kids when they were young, just for ease of use of getting it into their gobs when they were babies. But drinks, no, you're messing with a lot of money just to whiz it up. Deacon Duck has said he wants to own Peach Death Vodka. That's peach schnapps and amaretto.
Peach schnapps and amaretto. Oh, I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah. Frog Stomper wants to own the Black Russian with a Guinness top. She says it's heaven, but lethal.
Yeah, they are nice.
Okay, Guinness.
Ask her if that's a pint.
Okay, well, let's ask her. Is that a pint?
Is that a pint? Sorry, I forgot they can hear me.
Yeah, they can hear you, definitely. Guinness. I don't like Guinness at all.
Guinness is an acquired taste.
It's cold coffee.
Which I also enjoy. Yeah, Guinness is it's an odd one. It's apparently the best pint you'll ever have is actually at St James's Gate in Dublin, because it doesn't travel particularly well apparently. But no, Guinness, I do like a pint of Guinness, followed by another pint of Guinness,
followed,
and then another pint of Guinness probably. Yeah, I do. Guinness is one of those ones. Yeah, I do like good pint of Guinness is good.
Right. Mr. Lee Medcalf, he's in the chat room as well. I'll let the listeners know what the chat room is in a second. He said, the maddest drink I used to have was something called a trip. It's basically take a mouthful of Southern Comfort, a mouthful of Tia Maria, together, hold them in your mouth for a count of 10, and then swallow and chase it down with a shot of tequila. And then purse your lips and suck in the cold air. It tastes like cherries, chocolate orange made by psychopaths.
So that again, what's the three constituents? It was Tia Maria.
Southern Comfort, Tia Maria. Hold it in your mouth for 10 seconds.
Southern Comfort.
Swallow it and go like that.
I can see that working quite well, actually.
Oh, right. I'm going to give him the trip. That's it now, Lee. You own the trip.
Yeah, because that adds a sense of theatre.
That is one of the good things about it, though, isn't it? The theatre, the pub is kind of a theatre, though, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, certainly depending on which one you go to.
Yeah, well, around my way, I've got 3 pubs, and they get posher the further away from my house you are. I don't know what that says about my house, but I can walk out my front door and roll down my hill and I'll be in the first one, which is a proper spit and sawdust pub. And it's nice if that's all you want. It's fine.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get, I don't know, families going in there for a nice, quiet family meal.
Good.
That's not going to happen. This is proper old man territory, old man sailor type stuff.
You walk in and the record scratches and everybody looks at you.
It can be like that, yes. Especially in winter when everyone's hogging around the fire, the open fire there. And you walk in and everyone's eyes glance at you. If they recognise you, that's all right. You can come in. If they don't recognise you, what are you here for? Yeah. What about you? Have you got many around your way then?
We've got a bit of a trek to get to any because obviously I live on an XREF base. But we've got a couple within walking distance. They're both sort of your standard village pub. One's a bit rougher than the other, but yeah, they're not too bad.
Yeah,
I do quite like a quiet pub, just for one, like your Sunday lunch, Sunday afternoon pint or whatever. That's
what I enjoy as well.
But because where I used to live in Huntingdon, we had Huntingdon was a very, very odd place when it came to pubs. You had a few sort of town centre pubs that were generally dead. Mm-hmm. And then you had one place called Cromwell's Bar and Grill, which attracted the more sort of, we'll say chavvy end of youth, as it were.
Yep.
Which I went in there once, and I never went in again. I just thought, I can't be bloody arsed with this. But the other end of town, there was a pub called the Samuel Pepys, and that was really nice. It had a decent sized beer garden, and that was a good. That did a good pint in there. They had things like 6X and Doom Bar and Tribute and stuff like that on tap. So that was a good pub. But the reason I think Huntingdon was always so quiet is because you have what's called the Oxmoor Estate, which most estate agents would describe as lively and vibrant.
Okay.
But the pub, I think it's called the Lord Protector up there. It's a kind of pub where you go in and the doorman goes, "Are you carrying a weapon?" And if you say no, he'll hand you one. It's that kind of pub. I never went in there. I just thought, oh, fuck that for a game of soldiers. So the people on the Oxmoor tend to gravitate towards that one. Mm-hmm. And then all the youth in Huntingdon gravitate towards Cromwell's. And then everybody else either ends up in the marketplace, the market square, or the Samuel Pepys diary rooms, because everybody else has gone to St Ives, because that's much more hip and happening.
Yeah.
Which is quite good, because if you want to go to that sort of stuff, you either if you're 16, you end up in Cromwell's, and if you're over 16, you end up in St Ives. But they've now just installed a Weatherspoons, so I'm quite glad I don't live in Huntingdon anymore.
Weatherspoon, they're good.
They serve a purpose.
Yes, they do. They fill a hole, don't they?
Yeah.
I remember them. When I first heard about Weatherspoons, it was, this pub without music and without fruit machines? What's
or
all
atmosphere?
That about? Well, yeah, but it was, okay, well, then you create your own atmosphere, but then...
By fighting.
Yeah, well, they got, cheap drinks, fighting, and lots of cocaine.
Cheap drinks.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I'm saying that.
No, definitely. There's no fucking allegedly about it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, now they're full of fruit machines, which adds a bit of colour to the surrounding areas. Some of them are really nice. Some of them work. Some of them feel out of place. When I used to go drinking down in Greenwich, there's some really nice bars. They're quite expensive, but that's what you'd expect from around Greenwich.
Well, yeah.
But it was chic. It was retro at the same time, but then they stuck a Weatherspoons down in Greenwich, and it brought in a clientele that I was going to Greenwich to get away from clientele. And we were drinking near Plumstead, near Woolwich, near Welling, that sort of area. And we went to Greenwich to get away from all that sort of stuff. And then they stuck a Weatherspoons in there.
And the fuckers followed you.
Well, yeah, they all went, Greenwich? Brilliant, let's go down there. And then they all steamed down there and thought it was brilliant. I was like, well, yeah, it was brilliant. And now you guys are here.
Now you're...
Which...
Yeah, spoons will do that to a place.
Yeah, I think Weatherspoons and McDonald's are a sign of, okay, something's changing around here. Something's definitely changing, because I remember Greenwich didn't even have a McDonald's at one point, and I think they built this new area around the Cutty Sark, just around the back of that, near the comedy club. And you got phone shops, you got not quite pound shops, but phone case shops as well. The Weatherspoons, and it just changed it ever so slightly.
There's a Weatherspoons in Cambridge. Have you ever been there?
Oh yeah, what one? Hang on, what?
The one that's
the Regal.
Is that it? I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. The really big one
on the main high street.
Yeah, that used to be a cinema.
Yes, that's the Regal. I think it is.
It's absolutely massive, and there's fuck all atmosphere in there. It's awful. It's really out of place as well. It's far too big.
Yeah,
because it's an enormous warehouse of a place with like 2 bars.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't. I mean, it works because it's £1.20 a pint or whatever, so everybody gets leery and pissed and goes outside for a fight. But it's because of the part of Cambridge it's in, it feels so out of place. Because you've got bars like the Aviary and the Castle and all that sort of stuff along there as well, and they're kind of nice sort of pubs, if you see what I mean. And then you've just got this weird sort of lager emporium in the middle of it all. It's just really strange.
Yeah, it's just a chemical factory, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's quite nice because it's next to All Bar 1, or very near to All Bar 1, which is a place I cannot stand. I can't stand All Bar 1. And it just seems quite fitting, really. Oh, we can't get lager in here. There's plenty next door.
Yeah, that's right. There's also one. There was one. What was it called? The Tivoli or the Tivoli or the Tivoli.
Tivoli, yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of the dirty man's area of
yeah.
Cambridge, and that was. It was always packed. Everything was slightly dirty in there. The glasses were slightly dirty. If you didn't get a bit of dirty salt in there, then you weren't really having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't great at all. Wasn't great. So when did you first start your escapade of drinking?
I think my first sort of drinking escapades proper were when I was probably about 14.
Yeah.
Because that's when I could get into pubs.
Right. Why does that not surprise me?
Well, I've been this tall since I was 11.
Oh, you bastard.
I just shot up. When I was a kid, I just shot up.
I hate you.
I'm just shy of 6 foot now, and I've been this tall since I was 11. So getting into bars when I was a kid was really easy. Just walk in and never. The only time I've only ever been ID'd once, and that was on holiday. That was on honeymoon in San Francisco.
Right.
And it was, I can't remember what bar it was we were in, but I did try and jump over the bar and hug the girl behind the thing because obviously you need to be 21 to drink in America, and she tried to ID me, and I was in my 30s, and I was like, yeah, fucking come here, love. So,
Yeah,
what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm 36.
It's all 21 over there, bar nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 21 and 21. Because is it 18 over here?
Yeah, it's 18, yeah.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, because I've never been ID'd and been able to get into a pub since I was 14. I don't know what the legal drinking age is.
Oh. Yes, all 18 over here. I started drinking... Oh, it was just 17 when I first started going into pubs. I was a real nervous guy going into these pubs as well. Oh, has Pete gone?
No, I'm serious.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you dropped off then. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, I was the nervous guy. So I would walk in and sit down, and someone else would go get me a pint. Or actually, when I first started, a half, because that's all I could handle at the time.
Was it a bit Harry Enfield? 2 alcoholic drinks, please.
Yes, it was, but we had a really good barman, Steve, his name was, and it was the Prince of Wales. It was in Plumstead, and I think it's turned into houses now, which is a shame. But it was a good place. Had real good atmosphere, and we had our friends would always go down there. There was an older lot, and they knew that we were the younger lot, but they would, if any shit kicked off, they'd look after us.
Oh, that's good.
Because they knew that we weren't kicking off any shit. We weren't there to mouth off people. We would talk to other people, and we would laugh with other people and have fun with other people. But we would never instigate anything. We wouldn't really get involved in anything. And so it was, okay, look, they're just having fun. They're being polite. They're peaceful. Leave them alone. And if shit kicked off and some dude came over and started giving it, then they would all step in, which was lovely. It was brilliant. So it was good family atmosphere like that, because you could go down there on a Friday and have a real good time. And yeah, you'd send someone up to the bar and another person would go up to the bar, and you'd all work your drinks out. but the staff kind of knew that you were underage. Well, they definitely knew that you were underage.
Yeah.
And it was always amusing as we progressed. We all turned 18 one at a time. So it was, oh yeah, okay, right, I'm going to go and buy my first alcoholic beverage. And yeah, it's my first day to buy a pint today. And then they look at you and go, okay, thanks for that.
Yeah, you've been coming here for a year.
Yeah, at least a year. But it was such a good place to go. And it was such a good introduction to it as well. Not just drinking, but the atmosphere that is surrounded that as well. If you've got good mates, then you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. It's the old down the pub with your mates sort of thing. Mm. It's what makes it, really. It's not the actual drink in itself, because quite often alcohol's not actually very tasty. But yeah, I feel like the atmosphere of a good pub.
Well, yeah, I think that's where I started, really, when I was probably about 14, 15, when my dad would go over to France, or we'd have family go over to France, and they'd always bring back these dumpy little Stellas or Kronenbergs or...
My dad always used to do that. I can't remember the name of the beer, but it had a 33 on it. It wasn't Stella and it wasn't Kronenberg or anything. It was just a stumpy bowl.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
In an orange box.
Like FS or something.
Yeah, FS was one, I think, and 33 was one as well.
Yeah.
He still drinks it now. I don't know if he's been over there recently, but if he's just got a fucking stockpile from when I was a kid. Mm. But no, they still drink it now.
I'd love to have one of them. I need someone, if anyone's listening to this, it doesn't matter when, in 10 years' time, in 5 years' time, whenever, next week, if you ever go in France, get me a crate of them stumpy beers. That'll be great. I'll pay for them.
Oh, deal.
Oh, yes. There we go. Oh, deal. Yeah, if you ever listen to this, then yes, I'll have some beer, please. Thank you very much. But they had a funny, I suppose it's when you're a kid, they have a real funny, zippy type taste. It's not pleasant, is it?
No, it's especially that sort of French, I'm guessing cheap French beer. It seems too fizzy.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the first alcoholic drink that people come across is that sort of cheap beer that's come over from, like a booze cruise, as it were. Mm-hmm. Or they used to call it. Boxes of wine as well, not bottled boxes.
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah,
I like the idea of boxed wine, but I don't do
God,
wine.
no.
No, is it a bad thing then?
I don't know if it's a bad. There's certainly no snobbery in my part, because I'm not a massive wine drinker. The only time I sort of really drink wine is if it's about £5 reduced from £10 in Tesco's. Mm. If there's like an offer on, which is usually Jacob's Creek or Yellowtail.
Yeah.
If it should be £11, but it's actually 5 or 6, and yeah, fuck it, I love that. It seems like a bargain. Yeah. But it all tastes the same. I've got no nose for wine at all. But I think there is a stigma to anything in a box or anything called Blue Nun.
Right. Okay. I've heard of Blue Nun. I think I've just steered clear of it. Is that a wine?
It's a wine. It's always a punchline to a joke because it's supposedly shit. I've never had it. I know it's always an Alan Partridge one. It's when he's, do you know, I'm going to shock you now. I like wine. I want to do a wine program. I'll just give me a bottle of Blue Nun.
Right.
It's that sort of thing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a massive one. I mean, the trendy drink now, I think, is Prosecco, which is kind of like a fizzy. And here's my ignorance. It's kind of like a fizzy wine, a bit like champagne. I ain't got a bloody clue. It tastes like fucking vinegar. It's horrible. I can't do white wine at all.
I don't mind. I've got no problems in anyone drinking anything at all.
Oh, no. There's certainly no.
The only thing I don't like is when people have too much red wine. And you do get a couple of... when there's too much red wine... And there's that kind of smell of the drunk wine.
I've never noticed that.
No.
No, it's not something I've ever sort of picked up on if somebody's had too much. And I've definitely in the past, I have definitely had too much red wine.
Yeah.
There was one particular Christmas that, yeah. But no, I've never sort of noticed a particular smell around somebody who's had like too much red.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just me being snobbery again, and I'm not even being snobby because I just drink lager. So, work that one out. That's not snobby whatsoever. But yeah, the white wine is fine. It's definitely got a different pungent to it because obviously the different grapes that they use. But
yeah,
white wine, I don't know. Because I don't drink any of them, I don't really know. Do you know, when I go down to the offie, and if I do ever buy a bottle of wine, the only thing I ever do is fill the little indent in the bottom of the bottle. And, okay, if it's flat, then no, I'm not going to buy that.
Oh, really?
If it's deep, that's supposed to mean it's a better wine. Now,
I didn't know that.
That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
Because I always heard that cheap and nasty stuff's got a screw top lid.
I think everything's got a screw top lid now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I don't see the point of screw top lids on bottles of wine because once it's open, it's fucking open.
But sure, okay,
it's gone. It's gone.
Wine drinkers, surely they're missing out on the fun of pulling a cork out of a bottle of wine nowadays.
Yeah, that's good for because, as I say, with the prosecco, that's kind of like a fizzy, champagne-y sort of thing. That's always got a cork in it. And that's brilliant fun.
So they get to pop that?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is then.
But you can really get some range on them, because I don't know if I'm doing it properly, because the missus drinks Prosecco, but I always try and fire it as far as I can. And there's that lovely sort of boop noise, but I'm not allowed to do them in the house.
What, the popping? Well, aren't you supposed to twist it as you pull it out? That's what she said.
I don't know. I just fire them as far as I can.
No,
that's great. Look at that one. It's still climbing.
I don't really fancy smashing all the lights off my ceiling.
No, that's why I do them outside. Where's the neighbour's cat? Shit, here, come here.
Oh, jeez. Allegedly.
Yeah. No, I've never hit the cat with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna pull like a very quick straw poll. People in the chat room. Okay, people listening to this on the podcast. Normally, when we record these episodes, we're in the chat room. We do these live. It's on Mixlr.com/RogueTwoMedia. You can Skype in on Skype with Elton McManus as the username, or you can just join in the chat room as people are doing at the moment. And I'm going to ask them, the guys, do you miss the corks? Are there anything with a bottle of wine? Does it still have a cork in there or not? I don't know. It's been such a long time since I've actually opened a bottle of wine. I don't drink it, so I don't get round to it. But I know I've bought wines and they just have the screed top lid. So, let us know in the chat room if they still have the corks, or are all bottle openers now null and void, which would be a sad day. Because I always used to make the man dance, but that's just the child in me. Okay, drinking. So you've started drinking quite early. Was it like with a big group of mates, or is it just one or two of you, or what?
It was sort of a select group. It wasn't a big group. It was sort of like 4 or 5 of us. But it kind of started off from sort of beer and cider and whatnot.
Right.
There was certainly nothing harder at that stage.
Yeah. And was there a lot of trouble when you was a youngster?
It would depend entirely on where you drank.
Yeah.
The town I grew up in, there were, I think, 23 pubs.
Wow.
I always remember that number being bandied around, and it was. The town is Blandford Forum. So if anybody's in the chat room has ever heard of it, which is highly unlikely, it's a tiny little Georgian town on the south, in North Dorset on the south coast there. And yeah, tiny little town, one school, one sort of upper school, it's, quite not a big place at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently punctuated with about 23 pubs. But there were certain ones you could go in and you were fine. I think Nelson's was one. That kind of tried to brand itself as a wine bar, but it really, really wasn't. It still isn't now. Then you had the Crown Hotel, which is a bit posher. That was quite nice. That's down on the floodplains. And then I think there was the Dolphin on the High Street. That was a good one. And then you had the Three Chuffs, which I believe isn't there anymore, because I've not been into Blandford for a couple of years now. The Three Chuffs, and opposite that was the Crown and Anchor.
If there are any American listeners, they're going to be loving these names of pubs, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
The Three Chuffs?
A chuff is a blackbird with yellow legs, or is it red legs? I think it's red legs. But yeah, all the locals used to drink in the Three Chuffs. And the squaddies, because Blandford is a garrison town, you've got the Royal Signals are stationed in Blandford. The squaddies used to drink in the Crown and Anchor. And at throwing out time, fun and games. Fun and games galore.
Is that where they all meet?
They basically emptied out into the middle of the road, and it was, in like the Keystone Cops and any sort of cartoon like that, there's a big cloud with arms and legs coming out of it.
Yes.
Bit like that. That. And it was just a nightmare. You used to stand on the side of the road and just, it wasn't the kind of leave it, Darren, he isn't worth it sort of fight. It was, somebody's going through Ladbrokes window in a minute. Oh, there he goes. Every week, Ladbrokes just in the end didn't bother reglazing.
Jeez.
Just leave the board up.
And replace the board each week.
Yeah, just put a new board up. It's cheaper than glass. Oh, dear.
Wow.
But it's not so, as I say, I don't think the Three Chuffs is there anymore, and the Crown and Anchor's a little bit more refined. I think the MPs clamped down on town drinking with the squaddies, I think, after a little while. So it did get a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, that was a problem. I remember when we used to pop down to Greenwich. Not Greenwich, into Woolwich. And you've got a lot of squaddies around there. I think the pub that everyone used to frequent has been ripped down because it was right next to the station. And
always good.
And you'd go down there and they'd have barmen on there, and then there'd be squaddies in there as well. And we would just go down there for what I'd like to say a quiet drink because nothing else was open. Because I think this pub stayed open late.
Oh,
yeah. And there were a fair few fights outside there. It was... You could feel the tension in there. As soon as you walked in there, it had a totally different atmosphere to any other pub I've been in, to the point where I felt uncomfortable straight away.
Yeah, the kind of pub where they have a pub quiz towards the end of the night. Are you looking at my bird? Being the main question, to which all answers are wrong.
Well, yeah. Yes, he's wrong. No,
Did
he's wrong.
Did you spill my pint?
Well, she's fit. Of course I'm going to be looking at her. He's wrong as well, isn't it?
No, she's a dog. Oh, no. Dear, oh dear.
But the amount of times I would squeeze past to get to the loo or get to another drink, and you'd barge someone and you just get dagger eyes from someone who was loaded. They were either loaded off a drink or off their face on coke. And it doesn't matter what you said. Like you said before, any answer is incorrect. I remember treading on someone's shoes once.
No.
And they were shiny. They were very shiny shoes. I didn't mean it. It was a pure accident. And I somehow talked myself out of it, but flipping hell. I looked at it, I don't want this, mate. I just want to go wee. I need a wee. Can we do this after I go for a wee?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, dear.
We had Football was another one that would always kick stuff off as well.
Oh, yeah.
And there's two memorable things I wanted to bring up tonight. The first incident I was not involved in, but it got really quite heated. I think England were playing, and we were in the pub. I think it was during the Euros, Euro 96, and everyone was just off their tits. We were really enjoying it. I think England had won the match at some point, and it spilled out into the road, all the celebrations.
Right.
And what would normally happen is, if England had won, then everyone would spill out into the road, and we'd all wave our arms and be jolly and chanting and stuff like that as the cars went past on the main road. And buses would beep their horns, people on buses would wave, other cars would beep their horns, lorries would beep their horns, and it was a really good atmosphere because they'd be listening to it in the car, and it was that time of, well, England, are they actually good? It might actually happen this time round. I never know. But it was a really good atmosphere. But there was one guy, and he was well within his rights to do this because he was driving a car. And obviously the people in the pub thought, well, hang on, I've had a couple of beers. I am stronger than car. So I will step out in front of car. And they were all jumping around, and a couple of guys thought it'd be a great idea to try and bring the traffic to a standstill. And so they did that, as idiots they were. And we were outside watching it and going, this isn't quite a good idea. But, you know, it's a good idea that I want to watch. And some bloke was like, no, get out the way. And he was edging towards this guy. And I think he hit his leg at the prompt speed of about 1 mile an hour. It was a case of, get out my way because I just want to get home.
Yeah.
He could have been in a rush. And so the guy who he'd hit the leg of, he spun around and gave him a verbal through the window and then kicked in his door.
Oh, God.
And you thought, you did. Oh, here we go. And it was that joy killer of, oh, shit. And we all looked at each other and went, right, back into the pub. And so we all went into the pub. And this guy, the guy in the car got out and started having a go at him. And then I think he went into the pub and used their phone. And by the way, he hasn't moved his car. All the traffic is still building up behind him. And everyone's honking their horns, and everyone thinks, oh, yeah, it's all for football. No, it's for, shit going on.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy who did the kicking of the door, he swapped shirts with about 4 or 5 people so he couldn't be found.
Oh,
and
bastard.
The police turned up, and then I think he swapped shirts with someone else and then disappeared somewhere. He sobered up really quickly and then fucked off.
Yeah.
And we're all, 18, 19 at this time? We're just sitting around looking at this going, yeah, this ain't good. This is not what I came out here for.
No.
And I suppose that was my first experience of the police turning up at a pub and everyone just whimpering away. And I don't think the guy got caught. He disappeared for a good 6 weeks, didn't really turn up at the pub at all.
Oh, God.
But yeah, what a dick, man.
It is a dick move.
Well, yeah, that's what alcohol can do to people, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It can turn them into right lemon heads. And, kind of ruin it for everyone. And
yeah, you can get that one drunk guy that just will just turn.
Yeah. What was the other one? The other one was I was down in Greenwich. Do you know Greenwich at all, around that area?
I've only been once, never to go out drinking, but no.
Okay, right. Well, there's a cinema in the middle of Greenwich near the clock tower. And I think next to it there's a pub which has 2 floors, and one of them has quite low ceilings because the other floor above it. And once again, we were watching football, and this was the England versus Germany where England beat them 5-1.
Oh, so, right, I remember that game, yeah.
It was just before 9/11. I think it was the day before 9/11 happened.
No, it was quite... Because I remember where I was for that game. I was in Plymouth.
Yeah, it was in September of that year, though, definitely.
You could be right. Carry on.
Right. Could someone in the chat room just Google when that game was? To Google, please. Anyway, we were in this pub, and that sort of area, you have a lot of Charlton supporters, some West Ham supporters, a lot of Millwall supporters as well.
Yay!
And they're the best. They're the fun ones.
Oh, I don't know. I see your Millwall and I raise you Stoke.
Okay. Yeah, you could go Stoke as well. Okay, well, Millwall was our bad boys at the time.
Yeah.
And, September the 1st, 2001. Thank you
very
much, Deacon Duck. So, yeah, around that time.
Yeah.
And, yeah, this match was kicking off and we went 1-0 down, and then all the comeback came. We started scoring goals. And in this pub, where it had low ceilings, all the lights were downer lights, but they were protruding out the tongue and groove that they used as a ceiling. You also had fire exit signs that were balanced, and speakers and fruit machines. And every time England scored a goal, one of these lights would go missing. Because it was an excuse for dickheads to jump up and down and throw lager around and maybe smash a light off. And it became a sport in there. And because England won 5-1, there were quite a few opportunities to go absolutely bonkers.
Yes.
And the more people drank, the more people got drunk, and then the more lights disappeared, and then the fire exit sign went. I saw the hand come up for that, and it was just some dickhead going, "Sorry, I'm going to twat this." He jumped up, thwacked it, and it just disappeared and shattered into a million pieces.
Oh, bloody hell.
But we all sat there going, okay, right, I'm really enjoying this game, but you dickheads are kind of ruining it.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell.
I think that's the culture of England, though, isn't it? Surely we get wankered on 3 beers and then we go out and have a fight.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural thing, because it's basically, right, drink as much as you can because you've got to stop at 11. Yeah. You've got 3 hours to drink as much as you possibly can, and that's it. Whereas on the continent, they start drinking a lot earlier, and it's a sensible glass of wine with your dinner, and it's a much more it's a more social drinking culture. We're over here, it's right, drink as much as you bloody can. Yeah, because everything shuts at 11:30, doesn't it? Yeah, but of course, now that we've got the slightly longer opening hours, or we go to the continent and we go to places like Magaluf and Malia and all those other places, we take that attitude with us. Yeah. And right, drink as much as you can. Oh, it's open till 6 a.m, right, and then you're in hospital. Yeah. But yeah, it is a weird way to go out drinking.
Well, we have that culture of, okay, we think the pub's going to shut 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and people tend to get loaded before they go out nowadays because it's cheaper to get loaded.
Yeah, I've always done that anyway. Right. Right from when I was a student, as I say, half a pint of tequila before I went out. Yeah. Because it was so much cheaper to drink at home. And then you go out and have a few social drinks, regardless of whether the place shuts at 3 a.m. or 11 o'clock. Mm. But you just get a nice little buzz on before you go out, which, I think is fair enough, because it is so expensive to drink now. Yeah. Well, I say it's so expensive to drink now. Each drink is expensive, but it depends why you're drinking. If you're going out to get hammered, then it's really expensive. But if you're just going out for a nice pint on a Sunday afternoon, then it's not as bad. You don't have to remortgage the house.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a good one then. How much was your first pint?
Oh, I think we're probably talking in the region about £1.20.
Really? Wow.
About £1.20, yeah. That I can remember. I've got a few. I do have memory issues, but I think about £1.20 does ring a bell.
I think mine was about £1.87-ish. I remember a half pint being 97p. and
97,
people,
so specific.
Yeah, it definitely was 97 pence.
Yeah.
And now it's got to be at least £2, isn't it?
Oh, I think £3-4. A lot of places.
What
for a pint?
Oh God, yeah, no. Yeah, I was thinking about half. Yeah, a pint is well over £4 now.
Yeah, and without wanting to, well, it's not brag, but when you can drink as much as I can, £4 a pint is just ridiculous.
Yeah, people in the chat room, by the way, yeah, put your prices into your first pint, and I'll read them out.
Oh, bloody hell! Show your age.
Yeah.
£1.20. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
that's a pint of Badger Best in Blandford. That was.
Oh, okay. So lager would have been a little bit more expensive than that.
Lager. Now we had 3 lagers.
Right.
And they were. I can't remember. One of them was a Pils. I want to say Hofbrau.
Right.
But I didn't drink lager as a kid. But that was more expensive. I think they were £1.30, £1.40, and maybe £1.60 for a pint.
Yeah.
But I know.
Go on, sorry, go on.
And beer was a bit cheaper, as to say £1.20.
Right. Well, at the moment, Jim has put down 82 pence.
Bloody hell.
But
he's northern, so it's going to be cheap.
Yeah.
I always remember this. This isn't the first pint. It was certainly the cheapest pint. The Working Men's Club in Manchester. It was 64p for a pint.
Mm.
I went there with my godfather, and he was just like, "Hey, you'll like this pint of Boddington, 64p. Fucking hell."
Yeah, them days are gone, man.
They're well gone. They are.
So gone. And you know what? There's not a chance of them coming back either.
Oh, fuck no. Not a Scooby.
No. Jim has put 82 pence. Deacon Duck has put £1.30 for a pint of Webster's.
Oh, right, yeah.
Lee Metcalf has put his first pint was £1.30. And he said it was bought at the Million Hair Woolwich by the Thames Barrier. That rings a bell, that pub. The Million Hair. I wouldn't say I may have been in there. Was that an Arnold's pub? Because that's another topic. Families that own pubs.
As in families or breweries?
No, families.
Oh right.
Yeah, round our way, it was the Arnolds that owned a couple of pubs around there.
Ah. No, I'm only sort of used to endorse it. Certainly, it was Badger Houses. So that's pubs that were supplied exclusively by Badger breweries.
Yeah.
Or you had your free house, which sold whatever they wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, he said it was a shithole Arnold's. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Arnold's owned, what was the one that we went into? The Winchester, I think it was. It was right next to an industrial estate, and that was a fucking crap hole, that was.
Lovely.
Jack Woodgate says £1.99 for a bottle of Newcastle Brown.
Oh, Newky Brown, God.
Never had that. What is it?
It's basically, it's like stout. I mean, it's been a few years since I drank it, but it's kind of halfway between Guinness and beer. Right. It's brown and runny.
Right, and it's not going to be sweet at all, is it? Because it's from Newcastle.
Oh, fuck no. No.
It's going to taste of rain.
Rain and disappointment. Rain. No, it's quite nice. Always from a bottle, never draft. Yeah. Always from a bottle.
Rain, disappointment, and shirtless men.
And shirtless men and girls in glittery boob tubes. And no coats.
No stereotypes here whatsoever, by the way, guys.
No. Well, have you ever been to Big Market?
No, never.
Never. The stereotypes are alive and fucking well. They really are.
Oh, brilliant. What type of stereotypes do we have down there then?
What, Big Market in Newcastle?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all the usual ones. It's blokes with no shirts on who've taken all the steroids, a lot of tribal tattoos and shaved heads.
Yep.
And the women, no coats, glittery dresses, and heels that are far too high.
Yeah.
And that's in December.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's just a Newcastle thing. When we used to go out, we used to see lots of ladies in next to nothing, freezing their fruity bits off, especially when they're waiting for a bus or a cab.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what type of fights have you seen over the years? Because I'd imagine you'd seen one or two.
I've been in one or two. When you look like this, you kind of attract it.
Yeah.
I think certainly when I was certainly and at university as well. If you're drunk in a non-university sort of pub,
yeah,
you really attracted it then. Not so much in Cambridge. When I lived in Cambridge, Huntingdon was the last bar fight I got into.
Right.
That was over very quickly. But there's a few. Sorry?
Did he knock your Sparko then, did he?
Oh, yeah, it was terrible. It was really good. It's the most bizarre bar fight I've ever been involved in. Because my mate went off to the loo, and I was watching the TV behind the bar. I forget what was on. This is in the one time I've been in Cromwell's Bar and Grill.
Mm.
And they had a TV behind the bar. And I think it was a documentary. This is really weird. Bear in mind this is sort of your cocaine and chav sort of pub. There was a documentary on the TV behind the bar that had Spitfires in it. Of course, me fucking moth to a flame.
Mm.
So I was looking at this TV that's slightly elevated on the wall. And this bloke come up to me slurring and sort of staggering around a bit and started waffling on about how I thought I was all that and above my station and all this sort of stuff. I'm thinking, what? I'm just having a pint. And my mate's gone to the loo and I'm watching the TV and he goes, oh, you're all fucking la-di-da with your nose in the air. And I said, no, I'm watching the TV. It's slightly elevated on the wall. But he wouldn't have it. He just would not leave it alone. So in the end, he pushed me in the chest. And I was just like, look, mate, just leave it alone. My mate will be down in a minute and we'll be carrying on our conversation and it'll all be fine. You go and join your friends and I'm waiting for my mate. And he just wouldn't leave it. And I just, oh, fucking hell. And there was a hilariously poorly timed, very weak sort of punch aimed at I think he was going for my head, but it kind of glanced off my shoulder a bit. I don't know which one of me he was looking at that he could see.
Always go for the middle one.
Yeah, and I just thought, oh, fuck this for a laugh. I just twatted him in the middle of his face and he went down like a sack of spuds. And I just put my pint on the bar and said, I'll just leave.
Yeah.
Barman's like, no, you're fine, mate. I said, no, I can't be asked.
Well, yeah, he's only going to come round, isn't he?
He's only going to find his mate and I'm going to have a fucking bunch of 12-year-olds snapping around my ankles.
Yeah.
But no, bar fights are just... You kind of learn how to diffuse them or just finish them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never started them. I've never finished them. I've never got into a bar fight whatsoever. It's totally not in my nature to do that sort of stuff.
The worst... It's kind of the worst and the best one I've ever been involved in. Was on a rugby tour to Bratislava back in, I want to say 2007. And this is probably the best rugby tour I've ever been on. It was really, really good, but that's a story for another time. But we were in this bar. It was an Irish bar in Bratislava, and we kind of used that as our hub. So everybody, all 40 of us would pile into this pub, have a few drinks, and then people would splinter off into their usual sort of groups, because you had obviously first team players, second team players, vets, and sort of hangers on, all that sort of stuff. Mm. But we'd all pile into this one pub, and we all had navy blue polo shirts with the club emblem on the sort of left breast, and kilts. Don't ask me why we wore kilts. I've got no idea. We're based in the east of England, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But we all had the same uniform on. Polo shirt, kilt. Fine. So we're in this bar, and there was another group of English lads in there who were on a stag do, and they had pink polo shirts with numbers and nicknames in black on the back. And I think they were from Essex. It was a little bit, oi, oi, have a banana, that sort of Cockney, Essex sort of accent sort of thing about them. Mm. And they were quite leery, to say the least. And one of them, I'm not sure how it started, but he started a bar fight in Bratislava. And over there, I've come to learn that they just do not give a fuck. Because what then happened was this group of, I think it was 20 people on this stag weekend, were set upon by pretty much the entire population of the bar.
Sod that.
And it was vicious. One of the glass collectors, a quite pretty young Bratislavan girl, stood up on the bar with the tray of empty bottles she had just collected and just started flinging them into the crowd.
Fucking hell.
And she was taking out people in pink polo shirts for a laugh. I saw a chair smashed over somebody's back.
Right. Proper cowboy stuff.
I saw, those big, heavy glass ashtrays?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got one of them, yeah.
Smashed over somebody's head. The stag party did not know what hit them. It was just, holy shit. And we stood back because there was literally, there was a bit of blood flying. It was fucking vicious. People were getting glassed. And this bloke picked up one of the chair legs and came at us. And we're like, no, fuck that, no. Bear in mind, there's like 30, 40 of us, big sort of rugby players. And we just went, no, nothing to do with us, mate. You carry on. And he just waded back into the crowd and started twatting somebody. And we're just like, fuck this. And then as soon as it had started, it finished. And the sinister aspect of it was what we later found out was the unofficial police force in sort of combat trousers and bomber jackets came in, dragged out the unconscious bodies in the pink polo shirts and just carried them away. I know not where. Then a couple of people turned out with like dustpans and brushes and just swept the place clean, and literally put covers back on the tables and carried on, as if nothing had happened. And we were just like, what the fuck? But the upshot of that one, which helped make it such a good rugby tour, was wherever we went in town later on for the entire weekend, they're like, yeah, come on in, lads. Because we were no trouble.
Yeah.
We weren't out there to get as pissed as we could and start a fight. We were there just to have a bloody good laugh.
Yeah.
And it stood us in quite good stead because we all had the same polo shirts and kilts on, and our bar owners were, yeah, come on in. Yeah. Groups of 20, which, you try getting a group of 20 blokes into any bar in the UK. No, it just doesn't happen anymore.
No, you have to go in groups of 2, 3s, and 5s, don't you?
Preferably with a girl with you as well.
Yeah.
But no, group of 20 lads, yeah, coming into our bar. Brilliant fun.
Wow.
But no, that was really scary. I just have this image in my head of the girl stood on the bar just whipping empty bottles into this group. That's fucking scary. She's a good shot.
Oh, yeah, I imagine she was. And that sounds like Grand Theft Auto, and then someone just pressed the remove all stars button.
Yeah, it was. The best bit was we were flying home on the Monday morning. we were on the same plane as the stag party, and there were quite a few black eyes and stitches and, to be honest, empty seats.
Mm.
And we later found out that one of the ones that had to stay behind was the groom.
No.
And he missed the wedding.
Oh God! Well, funny enough, we have a groom in the chat room right now. It sounds like it's his. Deacon Duck in the chat room. It says he's having his stag do this weekend, so he's come here for tips. Why?
Come here for tips.
Number
right,
one, why
okay.
would you come here for tips? But number two, congratulations. Number three, good luck.
Good luck with that. Yeah, you're going to be sellotaped, well, gaffer taped to something, I imagine.
Oh, if there's not gaffer tape involved and hair removal, then I don't know. Is it a really good one?
I think, what was I gaffer taped to? I can't remember. I can't remember much. Actually, that was one of the drunkest I've ever been, was my stag.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go on. What did you do for that then?
Well, we went to Northampton. And in the morning, we went shotgun, clay pigeon shooting on the Saturday morning. And then the Saturday night, it involved fancy dress, because obviously it was a lot of rugby players. So whenever we go out, it's usually fancy dress involved.
Yeah.
So I came down, my mate, because I'm known for being very, very scruffy. I'm flip-flops, shorts and a hoodie all year round. So my mate had got me a tux, so I had to wear a tuxedo for the whole night, whereas everybody else was dressed as me. Shorts, hoodies, they'd all got fake tattoos on their legs and stuff like that, so it's just like, oh, they're all dressed as me, right, brilliant. And we went out, and it was a Grand Slam match. It was England versus Wales, and we did. We drew lots. So basically, if you had a colour and a number between 1 and 23, and if your colour and your number was mentioned in the match commentary, or the position relating to that, so yeah. England tight head prop, so that'd be white free. You had to down your pint.
Oh, bloody hell.
Except, obviously, there's 30 players on the pitch, and there weren't 30 of us, so I had all the other numbers. And they'd wangled it so that I had all of the numbers that were likely to be named a lot. So I had both fly halves.
Yep.
So number 10, red and white. And both captains I had, and I was basically just pounding pints the entire 80 minutes. And it was just ridiculous. It was absolutely brutal. That's the drunkest I've ever been.
Would it be to the point where you was nearly sick from drinking?
Now, I wasn't. Now, this is a weird one. Normally, I'm not sick drinking.
Yeah.
But if last year, my 40th, and Mr. Barnard will attest to this, I was just coming off of taking, I was on a course of quite strong painkillers. And I just finished them the day before. And then the night of my 40th, I decided to drink an entire bottle of Jack Daniels and threw my ring up. Oh, it's terrible. It's awful. But this night, I must have, and I'm not exaggerating, I must have drunk something like 30 pints. It was absolutely mental.
That would have killed me.
It would damn near killed me. But the thing was, I woke up the following morning, and this is where everybody in the chat room and everybody listening to this as a podcast will absolutely hate my guts. I do not get hangovers.
Up yours.
I have never had a hangover.
Oh, give over. Really?
Never had a hangover.
Flipping hell. There's something clearly wrong with you. So you don't even have a hangover cure then?
No. Hangover cures, no. I can't help you there, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I've never had one. I've never had a hangover.
Never had a hangover. Fucking right. Okay, I went to the pub one lunchtime with the family, and I think I had 1 or 2 pints there. And around about 5 o'clock, my hangover started kicking in. Then.
Well, it's like, you know, when we had that party, I stayed a night over at yours.
Yeah.
That night, what had I drunk?
Oh, that was... Oh, you brought that big fire bottle. I can't remember what it was called.
It was I drank a whole bottle of Tennessee Fire Jack Daniels.
That's right, yeah.
How bright and breezy was I the following morning?
You were hop, skipping and jumping all over the place.
I'm a bastard, aren't I?
Screw you. And I think I had like 2 or 3 cans. Not that I was wanking or anything, but I was... Oh, hang on. Was I working that weekend? So I wouldn't have been drinking.
You were on... Were you on call?
I might have been on call, so I wouldn't
might
have
been on call,
anything.
yeah.
No. Oh, yeah, okay, there you go.
But yeah, a whole bottle of Jack Daniels and other sundry things that were floating about.
Yeah.
But yeah, no hangover and barely even sort of slurring the words. Yeah,
it's true.
It comes from, well, basically, I'm a fucking great big rugby player, and that's what does it.
Yeah.
It's like hollow legs and just soak up the alcohol.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, definitely. So, yeah, I was going to ask about hangover cures then. But you clearly don't have any, you arsehole. You bastard.
What I would say for your man that's going on his stag do next weekend, try and sneak in a half pint of water every 2 pints.
Mm.
That's something I tend to try and do anyway. But yeah, that's a good one to go for. Is try, because basically it's the dehydration that gets you.
Yeah.
So it's your hangover.
Isn't it 1 pint and then you piss out? Sorry, you urinate 1.5 pints of water or 1.25 pints of water, so you're always dehydrating yourself when you're drinking beer.
Yeah, because alcohol's a diuretic. So, yeah. I mean, things like beer and what have you, I don't think are as bad because you're taking in a volume of liquid anyway. If you drink a lot of whiskey, that's when you can get really dehydrated.
Right.
Because you're drinking the amount of alcohol, but you're not taking in the amount of fluid as well.
Yeah.
So that's why quite often I'll drink like half a pint of water every other shot or whatever. So
yeah. See, my missus, she has her hangover cure is fat and fizz, and it'll be a fry up in the morning, and it'll be a can of Coke as well to go along with it, because
I have heard the can of Coke one before.
Yeah, she swears by it, and she says it works every single time. So who am I to judge about that? Myself, I don't know. Normally, if I'll down a pint of, if I've had a few and I know I'm drunk, I'll force a pint of water into me before I go to bed, and then take another pint with me. And
for in the morning.
Yeah, because one thing I do not like is when your head hits that pillow and the room just spins. Oh my! That is when I have to sit up in bed and go, nope, this is not good. And then you lay back down and everything's like, whoa! And yeah, that's killer. That does my head in. I think it is a fry up in the morning would be great. That kind of sorts me out.
Yeah.
So that was the worst time you've ever been drunk on your stag do as well, then. So
that's probably the drunkest I've ever. It's not the worst I've ever been drunk.
Yeah,
but it's certainly probably the drunkest I've ever been.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I think Sorry, Karen.
No, well, I was going to say one of my worst ones was when I was young and I was experimenting with lager, cider, and Jack Daniels in one night. And you're never supposed to have cider before beer. That's supposed to turn you over. And then I had Jack Daniels on top of that because I thought that would be a great idea because, it tastes really nice. And then I ended up walking out of the pub and sleeping around a tree, kind of hugging a tree.
Brilliant.
And I was there for 4 hours while I slept it off.
Oh, God.
And then, 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe I woke up 2 o'clock and I was, me and Amanda staggered home. Yeah, that was it. And one other. We went up to London. We went to the pub and then we went up to London to a club called Kaleidoscope. And it was a proper indies place. It was a university bar. And getting home from there, we'd normally jump on a bus. And me and my bladder is like the size of a walnut. So I normally go for a slash before we go. And we were waiting around. We just missed the bus. And we're up in Trafalgar Square. And we're trying to get over back to Welling type area. And we ended up jumping on a bus. And it was one of these night buses. And we was on the top and all the rocking and rolling started getting everyone's juices flowing again. You're like, oh, God, right, okay, now I need a piss. I really do need to get off this bus and have a wee. And we ended up jumping off somewhere in Blackheath. So I don't remember where. And having to find an alley and just urinate down there because I was actually going to wet my pants. I came that was one of the nights where I came so close. So close. And we ended up walking back to Blackheath Common and we got a black taxi from there to my house. Which cost a fair few pounds anyway, but the guy was nice in there. We gave him a nice tip as well. We weren't rude or anything. We didn't spew up in the back of the cab. But yeah, that was one of the other times I was so drunk. So drunk.
I think the worst episode of drunkenness I've ever had was at a Christmas party for the place I used to work at before where I am now. And I hated working there. Mm. Everybody there hated me. I had no friends at all at this place. I was an outsider and I was educated and they fucking hated me for it. It was awful. But for some reason I thought, yeah, I'll go to the Christmas party. It'll be fun. And how wrong was I? I was on my own for the entire night. We got a minibus to this place. It was I can only really describe it as hell on earth. It was an ABBA tribute act and a meal. And the meal was served on paper plates. That sort of place we're talking. It was kind of coronation chicken on paper plates. And the alcohol was free. And all my lot that I was with abandoned me and just fucked off. So I'm there. I'm in a room full of people I don't know or don't like, and who also either don't know me or don't like me. And there is a band that are doing badly, performing covers of songs I don't like. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is my idea of hell. And I had to wear a shirt and a pair of trousers. As previously stated, shorts and t-shirt all year round. So I was in hell. It was awful. So I just started drinking. And by the time it was time to go home for our minibus was here, arrived to pick us up, my line manager came back to us because everybody was like, oh, well, we should really take Pete home. Where is he? And he came back to the table where I hadn't moved from. And I was surrounded by 7 empty red wine bottles and 7 pint glasses that were stained with Guinness.
Oh, God.
I had drunk 7 bottles of red wine and 7 pints of Guinness.
How do you not die?
Well, that's the thing. It was a 30-minute taxi ride home in this minibus. We had to stop twice for me to throw up.
Yeah.
I also, because of where I was sat leaning on the sliding door. Apparently I broke the door. But the company never charged me for it, so I think that was just the people I was with were just winding me up. But I decided, I got home, and I hope my wife never listens to this podcast, because her night was hell. Because I came in, and obviously stunk. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I was doing. And she said, right, you're sleeping on the couch for your own safety.
Yeah.
So, right, fine, fair enough. I'll do that then. And she went upstairs to do something, and I followed her. Except I got to the very top step, lost my footing, and went all the way back down the stairs, head first on my back.
Oh.
I put a dent in the brick wall at the bottom of the stairs. When the ambulance came, I apparently was fighting them, saying, I don't want that clippy thing on my finger, get it off, get it off, get it off. And then I passed out, and which made the MRI scans and the x-rays a lot easier, because I was just unconscious and not with it at all. And I woke up in King's Lynn Hospital the following morning.
That's... Wow.
Absolutely fine.
No hangover.
Without a hangover.
Ugh,
However...
You disgust me.
However, my left foot was killing me because I suffer from gout. And I'd drunk enough red wine to give myself a gout attack. And I had to be at work at 11 o'clock later that day, and that was at about 9 o'clock.
Wow. Yeah,
I made it in.
My brother suffered from gout for a little while.
It's awful. It's horrible. It's
crystals, isn't it?
It's uric acid crystals in your joints. It's not, as people will have you believe, related directly to alcohol. But if you do get gout, the first thing the doctor will say is, "Oh, stop drinking alcohol." Fuck off. Just say that anyway. You're going to tell me to lose weight next? Yeah, there we go. Bingo. House. Various different people have various different triggers. If I drink a sufficient quantity of red wine, it will give me a gout attack. And if I go anywhere near a grapefruit, I'll have one. So, yeah, that's also another good one. If I know I'm going out drinking, I will take a vitamin C tablet because that helps flush the uric acid out. Yeah. So that's a good health tip for you, mate, going on your stag do. Take vitamin C.
Yeah, I've heard about that as well.
It helps flush the alcohol.
Right. Is that just a myth or is that science?
It's anecdotal. They are currently doing more studies on it.
So there's a room of scientists getting wankered.
And taking vitamin C and pissing, yeah.
Some are on the vitamins and some are not on the vitamins.
They don't know which one's which.
Science. It's for science.
It's science that I've drunk this.
Oh, I love them guys. They can get a grant for anything, can't they?
Oh, yeah.
That's brilliant. There was them guys, weren't they in the Antarctic? Hang on. Where are penguins? Anyway, one of them.
Yeah.
And they were, I think there were scientists flying aeroplanes over penguins, and their study was to see if penguins looked up and fell over backwards as the planes went over them.
That's the old myth from the Falklands War.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love if that was true. No, apparently when Harriers flew over, the penguins would watch them fall over.
So, what about other people? Have you seen them absolutely wankered then?
Oh, I'm the one carrying people home.
Ah, okay.
I've done that. It's because, as I say, it takes me quite a lot to get drunk, as in a ludicrous amount. I've played rugby with one guy for, I think where I stopped. About 14 years I've known this bloke. Yeah. We've been on 2 rugby tours together. He's never seen me drunk.
Okay.
And then one guy at his wedding, where I was an usher, he made it his mission to get me drunk at his wedding. He actually said at the reception and the wedding breakfast and all the rest of it, he said to the waiting staff, "See that bloke over there? Make sure his glass is always full. Because I want to see him drunk. It doesn't matter how much it takes, just keep him topped up."
Yeah.
And I did get drunk. There does exist a series of photographs of he calls it the transit of Pete, as in the transit of Venus.
Yep.
There's one where I'm fully clothed and looking very suave and sophisticated. Then there's another one where I've lost my jacket. Then there's another one where I'm actually drinking. And then there's another one of me fully clothed in the hot tub. So he just made it his, right, I'm going to see Pete get drunk. And then I did get drunk and ended up in his new mother-in-law's hot tub, fully clothed in the whole morning suit, after I had rugby tackled his sister-in-law's Fiat Punto and nearly rolled it.
Oh, Jesus.
With her in it.
Oh, no.
That was a good night, that was.
Oh, yeah. Rugby tackling it, not actually driving it, just rugby tackling it.
Because somebody said, because he said, I think he'd actually said to her, he said, "Oh, bet Pete can roll your car." And before anybody could say anything, I'd hit it. And it nearly went over.
The perfect hold my beer moment.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, hold your beer, because I'm going to add Mr. Lee Metcalf into this.
Yeah, I've just been cut off.
No, you're still there.
Oh, there we go. It just suddenly cut. I didn't know.
There we go. It's working. I think I've added him.
Hello.
Bloody hell.
Oh, hello.
Hello, mate.
You're there, but quiet. How are you doing?
I'm here. Oh, I'm here. Hold on. Here.
That's better.
There you go. It helps if I stick my mouth next to the mic.
Yeah. Are you in the same room as your phone?
My phone?
Or, okay, your computer?
Yes.
Okay, good. You're not calling from 1980s.
No, I'm not calling you. I'm not calling you from Woolwich Thames Barrier. No. Dear, no. I just wanted to call up because I'm listening and doodling away, and then I just thought, if I don't get my little 19th birthday hangover story, drunk story out of the way, then I will have failed you as a listener.
Ah, yes. Yeah, because I was expecting you to phone in about the conspiracies about the CNN workshop that you were doing.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't in the workshop. I was actually in the gallery.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, yeah.
The controlling the cameras.
Yeah.
That just if you want to do that bit.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask you about that, for the people that haven't listened to the conspiracy episode, go back and listen to the conspiracy episode, because we were talking about 9/11 and what was going on there. But there was a conspiracy about people on the fly adding a ball, and a ball hit the
That's right.
Twin Towers, and then it was all CGI'd over the top in live footage.
Which is bollocks.
How hard would that be?
Well, firstly, from a technical point of view, nowadays not so hard, because you get your video overlays and all that kind of stuff. But you'd have to know it was happening, and you'd have to have it all prepared.
Right.
So that's something, because if you're on the ground watching something explode in a building, and then someone's CGIing that shit over in real time, then that's very, very difficult to convince a load of people on the ground. But as far as it goes, just to add that just to do that bit, because I didn't really want to get into that, but basically, the way that CNN works is there's 3 time zones, and so you have the HQ that runs out of Atlanta, then there's the HQ that runs out of Hong Kong, and then there's the one that runs out of London, and each one crosses over. So basically, there's like a sort of like 6 or 7 hour sort of time slot where they sort of are exclusively on that particular part of the world. And then they have like a couple of hours crossover, and then then the time zone moves and it moves to the other thing. And when 9/11 happened, it was first thing in the morning, and it was like super early in the morning, and Atlanta hadn't come online because Atlanta's a few hours behind New York. And so all the stuff was coming out of London, and I was supporting the gallery that was supporting all the cameras and all the remote desking and all the auto cue.
Ah, I see.
So basically, because the auto cue is actually sort of like a computer, and it runs through stuff from Reuters and Associated Press feeds and all this kind of stuff. So you can kind of pull out scripts as they're going from an app called iNews. Anyway, so one of the things that CNN does is they have what they call bureaus, and the bureaus are like little tiny like places stuck around the world in towns like New York, and not big studios, but just like little tiny like outposts, little offices. And on each roof of each bureau is a remote camera, so that when like someone's going, when a territory is going from like London to Atlanta, they'll show like clips around the world.
Yep.
And the cameraman in the gallery can move the camera wherever they like within like a sort of 60-degree arc. Yeah, you can literally just go, oh, that's quite a nice shot, and just leave it there. So when you get that thing in CNN, you get the whole sort of like da 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 kind of thing, and you get like a shot of a city.
Yeah.
Then actually someone set that up as like a little transition, like a filler. And when 9/11 happened, we had control of the bureau cameras on the roof of the New York bureau. And basically what happened was we filmed the second plane coming in.
Ooh.
We followed it and we saw it. That's how come I say we, nothing to do with us, but the thing is, that's how come CNN had the footage, which then ended up getting shown everywhere, where they were actually looking at the exact right spot.
Yeah.
Because they knew where it was going to go, or they had a rough idea, basically, because they saw it bank. And then the very next day, because what most people probably don't know, that they can look it up on Wikipedia, is that one of the shareholders of CNN at the time was General Colin Powell.
Oh, right, yeah.
And basically, long and the short of it was, we just got told, some people will be arriving, cooperate with them in every way you can. And then basically about 4 cars, big black cars, just turned up with loads of guys all in the same suit. They all turned up. They cleared our entire library out and just fucked off with it.
Wow.
The day before.
Hell.
Yep. Didn't say a word. Just got let in by my boss, and we got walked to the library. They picked everything up, said, "Is this everything?" We went, "Yep." And they went, "Right." And they just fucked off. But as far as it goes, we filmed the second plane.
Yeah.
Literally from miles away. Well, I say miles away. I mean, it was on the river as it was coming over the river. And so, yeah. So there's no conspiracy of, it's a tennis ball. That's all just complete and utter bollocks. And we were, I was in that gallery I was doing the 3 a.m. shift till midday. And so literally I was supporting the gallery for the whole thing. And normally what happens is you go downstairs, you set everything up, you make sure it all works, and then you just walk away. And then the gallery people just do their thing. But if something emergency happens, you get like a seat in the gallery. And I literally just sat there for the whole event, watching the unexpurgated feed coming through, unedited from like cameras. Yeah. And it weren't nice because we saw all sorts of shit. I saw people jumping out of that building. I saw people hitting the floor when they jumped out of that building.
Yeah, that's not pretty at all.
So, yeah, so when you get all those kind of things, when you see all those people going, oh, yes, it's a conspiracy, it's all digitally done. It's like, dude, I would love to put you in my shoes and just watch you just piss your pants as you watched some poor sod literally on a bunch of plastic blinds try and climb down to the floor below and realize that, the windows don't open. And then just slowly slip off that thing. It's just like, fuck you with the conspiracy theories, dude.
Yeah.
Just seriously.
They're more insulting than anything, aren't they?
Well, at that point, it's like, it's a nice thought experiment, but it's just, yeah. When you kind of you've got no room to kind of sort of stand behind the camera, behind the TV and go, oh yeah, look on that TV that feeds 5 seconds delay and all this kind of stuff. And you can't even hide behind that because you're watching the absolute unedited raw footage coming in from multiple cameras. It's just like, okay, how are we faking this on like 7 different cameras, half of which we actually have control of remotely? It's just like, go on then. Go on, figure that one out. Tell me it's the melting point of fucking steel while I'm watching an engine explode inside a full 50 floor.
God.
No, not really. Not even when you can zoom in on it and see people on fire. So there you go. Thanks, mate.
Anyway.
So alcohol.
Alcohol. So yeah, so I drink very heavily since then. No. It makes the demons go away. No, the drink the drink thing, what I wanted to tell you about was my first real binge drink was on my 19th birthday. And the Million Hair pub we were talking about?
Yeah.
Basically, it was my 19th birthday, and I used to be in this quality assurance perfumery flavorings essential oils firm. And I was doing like science. I was doing biochemistry and analysis and all this kind of stuff on it. And I used to do QA analysis. And I was like this little 19-year-old fella on a lab that was attached to a warehouse where people were picking up and rolling sort of 100-kilo drums of oil literally every 5 minutes onto big trucks and what have you. So I hit 19, and suddenly it's like I've had a couple of those, drinks and all this kind of thing, those trips and everything. And, I've had a couple of those in my time, and I'm like, right. And I go downstairs, and the warehouseman, Dave, he's sort of like, come on then, son, let's take you out for a proper drink. And all the warehouse guys got me, and we went to this pub. And me, being sort of cocky 19-year-old fella, sort of goes, oh, right, okay, well, you know what? I've had a trip. I've had one of those Southern Comforts and, Tia Maria tequila combos. You know what? I think I'm going to show off in front of my newly minted, hardcore docker friends here. And
what could go wrong?
Could possibly go wrong. And I literally went, I'll have all the optics.
Oh dear!
I shot down the line of these optics in 1 pint glass.
Oh.
It was the most foul thing, but I tell you what, I ballsed it out. I nearly was sick drinking it, and I was just like, go on, you can do it, you can do it. And then you get to the really thick ones at the bottom, like your amarettos and all this kind of shit, and someone stuck some avocado in there and all this. And I got to the end of this, and I drank it, and I'm like, brilliant. And then I sort of thought, well, I'll have a beer, and I had a quick beer. And then I saw my friend, who's from the other lab that's downstairs, Noel, and he was walking back from lunch. And I thought, you know what? I feel quite good. I'm going to invite Noel in here for a drink. And I walked out, opened the door, and I went, no! The cold air hit me. And what follows now is a recreation based on all the tales that happened that everyone tells me. Apparently what happened was I came in, slurred, drank another whole bunch of the optics, and then told everyone that I was better than them. I could do so much more. I could be so much more. I'm gonna go places, be things, and I went off on this massive rant. And then I basically threw up all over the table. Then what they did was they picked my soggy lump of a body up and they took me back to the warehouse. And so I went back to the warehouse and the boss was coming in. So then what they did was they stuffed me in a tea room where I promptly threw up all over the place again. And then they realized that, I was probably suffering from something along the lines of massive alcohol poisoning. What were they going to do? What could they do? What could they do with a 19-year-old kid who was literally throwing up everywhere? I know. Go to one of the guys who's one of the lorry drivers and say to him, here, mate, can you take him home? And the lorry driver looked at me and went, where'd you live, mate? And I went, and I threw up in the ear of one of the guys who was holding me.
Oh.
And it went all down inside his green sort of cut overalls. Anyway, so eventually they're all sort of standing around thinking, well, what can we do with him? And then finally the lorry driver said, I know where to take him. And they threw me in the back of the lorry. Now, I will go from there to when I woke up. I wake up on a sofa and I can't move. And all I can smell, apart from sick and generally my own terrible body odor, is beef. I open my eyes and there's a fucking huge Alsatian on my chest. Okay. I'm looking and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Where am I? Oh my God. I turn my very, very delicate head to the right, and there, sitting on the sofa across from me, is a rather large woman in what could be called a silky dressing gown, but and she is accompanied by a number of other ladies, all in various states of dress. And what it turned out was this lorry driver dropped me off at a brothel he usually attends. And for those of you who want to know where it is, it's basically about 2 minutes walk away from the flyover of the Woolwich roundabout, which basically goes going in towards the O2. So basically, if you come off the A2 and then you've got the roundabout, which can take Woolwich if you go right. If you go left as if you're going to Greenwich, and then do an immediate right as soon as you go down that road, at the very end of this sort of unassuming suburban street was this sort of like detached house. And yeah, that's a knocking shop.
Really?
And they dropped me off. Yeah, I was dropped off there. And I was out basically for the better part of about 6-7 hours. And nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. And even if it did, I have no recollection of it at all. But I'm pretty sure nothing happened at all, because I don't think any amount of money would make anyone go within 1,000 yards of me. And then I just walked home, and it took me about 4 hours to walk home from Woolwich to Bromley, feeling very, very, very sorry for myself.
The walk of shame.
Yeah, but so bad that it was just like even the smell of my own breath. So I'd like burp, and it just like I'd catch a whiff of alcohol, and it'd just be like, oh God, oh gee.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah.
So it was, I swore off alcohol for about a year after that. I literally went teetotal. But there you go. So I just thought I'd tell you that because, it's not often that you get to be 19, nearly die of alcohol poisoning, and wake up in a brothel.
No, it doesn't happen all the time.
It's not a regular occurrence, I'll be honest with you. and Martin Thompson's in the chat room looking on Google Maps
to
try and
surprise me.
I probably could look it up on Google Maps. Hold on a second. Google Maps to Google. To Google,
indeed. That is one thing that I have suffered from, the relapse of sometimes it's mostly after cider. One time I was at work and I'd had a skinful on it was probably a football night, so it's probably like Monday night football or Wednesday European football, and I'd had a lot of cider and got very drunk. And then you go into work the next day, hungover. And I think halfway through that day, I thought it might be good to have a drink. And I had a apple tango. And that just brought waves of, not nostalgia, just memories of Yeah, the night before, and it's just, oh, I feel very ill now. Apples, I don't want anything to do with apples.
Just so you know, for those of you who are curious, it was at the end of Chilver Street, just off the A2, the Blackwall Tunnel Southern Approach.
I'm punching that into my tom-tom now.
Chilver, yeah. As Duck promptly writes, he says it's probably a Starbucks now. So yeah, so it's fucking you over in a completely different way, but and probably costs about the same. But if you come on the A2, pardon the phrasing, A206 off of Horn Lane, funny enough, go down the Woolwich Road away from the A2 to the towards Greenwich. It's like the second ending, Chilver Street.
Yeah, because there's a couple of pubs around there as well, isn't there?
Yep, there is, and they're all rough as badgers' arses. The lot of them.
Never went into them. I always avoided that sort of area. Just further down. The further away you get from the centre of Greenwich, either towards Deptford or towards Woolwich or Charlton, it gets rough. It gets really rough.
Yeah, especially funny enough, it was always there used to be a hospital, which is now the Greenwich Centre.
That's right, yeah.
And the hospital used to be surrounded by pubs. I always remember that because my dad went in that hospital for a few months, and I always remember coming out and it's like, there's a pub there, there's a pub there, there's a pub there, and I suddenly thought, I wonder why it's got such a big A&E, this hospital.
That's where, what was the club that was there? Was it Stars?
It was something like that, or Sparkles, or something like that.
Yeah.
Was something like that. I remember. But luckily I never went anywhere near that. But yeah, so that Million Hair pub that that I was talking about earlier, the Arnold's pub.
Yeah.
Which had a dentist above it, which is kind of ironic.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
It's like a Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. It was that kind of thing. It was that sort of area that you would go in, you could see people going in, coming out of the warehouses, going into this place, having a drink, and then going up and having their teeth done.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, that dentist must have been the most careful dentist you ever met in your life. and very keen with the drugs, I would imagine, as well.
We got raided every other week as well.
Yeah, I bet he did. But anyway, so yeah, that was my 2 penny worth. I just wanted to.
No, that's cool.
Not Porn Lane, Frog Stomper. No, Horn Lane, the A206. There you go.
I love the way you're giving out directions as if they're actually going to go there.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite interesting because so many people are more interested in that bit. Maybe you should do a Shonky Lab on brothels.
Yes, because my experience is overwhelming in that.
I tell you what,
Are you submitting your services in more ways than one?
Not doing that. No. Like I say, that dog, pardon the phrasing, but that Alsatian was like a bear. I tell you, it was the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was like literally I thought it was going to sell me Hofmeister and start dancing around the room. But anyway, yeah, Wanky Lab, Deacon Duck calls it.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, we can do the Wanky Lab. Yeah. But yeah, well, you never know. Maybe come live, ha 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 from Amsterdam. Right.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm going to carry on drawing my Logan picture now. So doodling away. So you guys carry on and have a lovely evening.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up at this point anyway. So.
Oh right.
Yeah, I think I'll hang up on you.
Oh, you're going to hang up on me?
I'm not going to cut you off. Don't worry. Go on. You just scarper now. Go on. Carry on doing your drawings.
I will. I'll post them up later. I'll post them up later if we do anything.
Nice one. Thank you very much for calling in anyway.
Just carry on, guys. Have a good one.
Ta-da.
Cheers, Lee.
Ta-ta, bye.
There he goes. And he has
Brothels.
There we go. He's disappeared now. So, is there anything else that you'd like to bring to this table, Pete?
Yeah, the one thing I was going to sort of, kind of a question, I don't know if I'm the only person that does this, but do you have like a specific drink that you'll go towards if you're going to drink to get drunk? And is there a drink that you'll drink to just be social or what have you?
Right.
Because what I tend to do is, if I'm drinking to get drunk, I will hit Jack Daniels. But if I'm drinking to sort of be social and what have you, I'll go for sort of I don't want to say the word more refined, but sort of a better class of whiskey, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm like with friends or whatever, or if I'm not drinking to get drunk, I'm just drinking because I like it, I'll go towards something like Lagavulin or Talisker.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm drinking to get drunk, it's always Wild Turkey or Jack Daniels.
Right. See,
I think because they're cheaper and they're not as. I think it's basically because they're cheaper, really, and they don't taste as nice. Because Talisker and that are really nice.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose because I don't think I get drunk on vodka. I definitely don't get hangovers on vodka. But
yeah,
it's been a long time since I've drunk that. Do you know what? I think I have set out to get drunk a couple of times, but I never really made it. Or I get bloated really quick. That's my problem.
Yeah, I can't drink pints and get drunk.
Yeah.
Because I just get full and you can't piss it out quick enough.
No, that's right. And
it's, yeah.
What I tend to find is if I'm happy, excited, having fun, good company around me, I tend to forget how much I'm drinking. And if it's over a couple of hours more than what I would normally do. So let's say the average would be, okay, go out 8 or 9 o'clock and then you're finished by 11:30. But if you start maybe 4 or 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock and then you have them a couple of extra hours and some good friends around you, good conversation, what's going on, I tend to lose track of what's going on and just fall into being drunk. I can't go out and get drunk. I think it kind of creeps up on me and all of a sudden it's, I think I better go to bed now. I've been there many, many times. And sometimes I find that I've also walked out of a room where we're all having a really good time and I've just sat down on someone's sofa and just promptly fallen asleep. I think I'm just gonna sit here for a bit and rest my head back a little bit. It's really this is the most comfiest position I've ever been in. And I could be sat on like a wicker basket, but it's so comfy. But yeah, I can't. Nowadays, I can't go out and get drunk. That's just not going to happen. I need good times and other things to go along with it to actually get drunk.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. So I can't drink at home and get drunk on my own like that because that's just weird.
No, I can't do that either. I will gladly have one or Scrumpy would get me there, I think. Scrumpy Jacks, which is about 5%. And I'll have...
When you say scrumpy, are you talking that shit that comes in cans, or are you talking the sort of stuff that's got dead crow floating in it?
It's proper not proper Scrumpy Jack, but it's the can form, which is called Scrumpy Jacks. I've got some proper Scrumpy as well.
Proper Scrumpy that you can't see through, yeah.
Yeah, I've got some of that as well, waiting for me.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, which is about 7% odd. So that's going to be a hangover and a half, that is. But I think if I have a couple of cans of that, then I can feel myself going. So if I reckon I had another can, then I'll be very drunk. But I haven't really set out to get drunk. Me and a friend did once. Well, me, a friend, and Amanda, and a couple other people. We did set out to drink until we got sober again. Which I think we got until about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we all just decided, no, it's not going to happen. I give up. I'm going to bed. But yeah, he said that he did drink until he got sober. I don't believe that. I think he was just wankered.
Yeah, it's like again with rugby tours. Rugby tours are a different breed of drinking.
Mm.
I always remember the Bratislava one. We picked the coach up to go to Stansted at 5 o'clock in the morning on the Friday, and started drinking then. Drank all the way whilst we were waiting for the plane. Drank on the plane. Landed in Bratislava. Started drinking again. Drank all the way up until about 3 in the afternoon when we had a rugby match. Mm-hmm. Finished the rugby match, started drinking again, drank through till about 6 a.m. Went to bed, up at 10, spot breakfast, started drinking again.
Yeah.
Continued drinking all day, play another rugby match in the afternoon, 3 o'clock-ish. Continued drinking after that, go to bed at about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Coach comes to pick us up at 11 to take us to the airport, continue drinking, and then drink all the way till you get home.
I've heard about rugby tours because I've got a neighbour whose kids go on the rugby tours.
Yeah.
And you get all the parents that go along with it, and obviously they're going to get a bit drunk.
Rugby tours are something else. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
I thoroughly recommend anybody to go on them. Because it's just a different breed.
Yeah.
Different style of drinking.
Martin Thompson has brought something up in the chat room, and it's about...
When you say brought it up,
yeah, on the white phone, calling Ralph on the white phone. It's drinking tequila, and he says, "Has anyone discussed the bizarre methods of drinking tequila yet? Are there many different ways?"
The main one is you take a lick of salt on the back of your hand, then you bite into a lime, and then you knock back your tequila.
Hang on.
Or is that the wrong way round? Because I've never had a bizarre confession. I've never actually done it.
Oh, I have. I think it's lick the salt, knock it back, and then take a bite of the lemon or lime. Yeah.
Oh, right. That seems like a lot of palaver.
It is.
As I say, I just stick half a pint and drink it like that.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay. One thing that really gets my goat when we go out, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be anyone. It could be you. It could be anyone I've met prior to this, after this, people of my family. If I'm at a pub, we're friends and are gathering, and someone comes along with a tray of shots, and then I'm expected to drink one of them shots.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Nothing more turns me off of drinking that shot than actually having it shoved under my face and gone, drink that, and forced to drink it. I haven't chosen to drink that. That's one thing that really gets my goat, and I know it. If anything makes me want to walk out of a pub, it's that sort of behaviour.
Yeah, and mainly because it's always fucking Sambuca, and I cannot stand Sambuca. I don't like licorice. I don't like aniseed.
Yeah,
Sambuca's disgusting. I hate it, and it's always let's get a round of shots in. What the fucking hell is this? No, I'm not having that.
Yeah, it's either that or Aftershock, which I can't stand.
No, that's very chemically tasting, horrible stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the blue stuff, and I love the
green and bright red, and
the chat room are discussing how to actually do the tequila, whether it's salt, lemon, and then tequila, or salt, tequila, lemon.
I think it's salt. I think you're right. It's salt, tequila, lemon.
I think it is, yeah. But yeah, the blue Aftershocks, the red Aftershocks, whatever, I don't care. I don't like it. It's just science in front of you, and I don't want that.
And can we just say Jaeger bombs? What the fucking hell is the point of a Jaeger bomb? I don't, because I say growing up, when I was younger, Jaeger was always like a heavy metal drink. Mm-hmm. You'd see Kerry King from Slayer would have a bottle of Jägermeister in his hand.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I will do the same. Jägermeister, I do enjoy. I do like Jägermeister. But again, I'm drinking it in half pints, if not straight from the bottle. But now there seems to be this thing called a Jaeger bomb, where you get a tumbler full of Red Bull, mm-hmm. and then you put your shot glass inside that, and your shot glass has got a shot of Jaeger in it.
Yep.
And you drink that back. And I think I might have missed the memo as to why that's good. Because I don't get the point. It's a bizarre drink delivery system that I don't quite understand.
It's okay. I think the early noughties or late noughties version of a chavvy drink. That's just my opinion of it. If you like it, then good luck to you. Enjoy it. I'll even buy you one. I've got no problems in that. But it's very, very common.
Yeah, because I always had it with, as I say, it's an association with bands like Slayer. But now it's every sort of chavvy sort of person drinks it. And I don't understand it. And it makes a lot of people get very drunk on them very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And of course, I've got the background of drinking bottles of Jaeger straight from the fridge. It's just that sort of thing just sort of washes over me.
I was in the Imperial one night with the guys. I can't remember when it was. I think it was this year. And I went to get a pint from the bar, and in front of me there was a guy. He had 2 Jägermeisters and 2 pints. Or he was ordering that. And I think he had the Jägermeister served to him first. And while he was waiting for the pints to be poured, he knocked
back the Jaegers.
He knocked both of these back. Now,
yeah.
I don't know how much he paid. Let's say they were £4 each. And
that's not far off, really.
Yeah, and he just knocked £8 worth of drink in less than 10 seconds. And then he picked up the pints and then walked off and gave his pint to his missus, I think it was. But yeah, I couldn't get my head around that.
Because that's where this is where I sound like a complete miser. If you're paying £8 for 2 shots of Jägermeister, that's £8. A bottle of a full 70 cl bottle of Jägermeister is £16 on Amazon.
Yeah,
that I think because I've certainly not gotten drunk in a pub for years now, probably.
Lee in the chat room is saying that they're £8 in the Imperial
for a single shot of Jaeger.
I think the Jaeger bombs, or maybe just the Jaeger, and he says per shot.
Fucking hell!
So yeah, that's a lot of money to down like that.
That's as I say, £16 on Amazon. I think it's $16.50 for a full 700ml bottle.
Yeah,
and you're paying £8 for a shot. Fuck me, that's awful. Bloody hell. It's like when you can buy a bottle of Buffalo Trace bourbon for £19.
Yeah.
I'd get all my alcohol on Amazon now. It's so much fucking cheaper. It's ridiculous.
It is though. Yeah, I don't blame
you. That's kind of where I was. I don't know if you wanted to wrap it up fairly soon, but that's kind of where I was kind of steering, because I try not to go to pubs too much now because it's just pointless. Mm-hmm. For me, I mean, as I say, a whole bottle of Jack Daniels. I'll start to feel that, after a bit. If I drink a whole bottle of Jack Daniels, there's no way I could afford that in a pub.
No.
You're looking probably. I don't know what it is. I think I bought a bottle of Jack Daniels in Tesco for 20 quid. Yeah. That's not 20 quid's not going to get you very much Jack Daniels in a pub.
No, you're probably 4, 5.
Probably 4 shots, if that.
Yeah,
and that's nothing. And like when certainly if you're drinking in London now, it's what, £4 or £5 a pint.
Yes, easy. Yeah.
If I go out drinking to get drunk like that, I can, again, not wishing to brag. I mean, I'm a fucking expensive date. 15, 16 pints, and I'm still quite happy. It's so expensive to drink in this country now.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Which goes back to the binge drinking thing, and people before they actually go out.
Well, that's part of it. I mean, it's probably just highlighting it straight away there. If you can buy a whole bottle of Jägermeister for 16 quid, drink that before going out.
Yeah.
It is a ludicrous state of affairs. But then it's quite funny as well with the supposed health implications of drinking. Where we've lived in this house for a year now. I've not registered at our GP surgery yet, so I got hold of the forms and I filled all the forms and I was going to drop them off probably tomorrow. But on there it says, how much do you drink a week and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, I don't drink weekly. I'll drink like once, maybe twice a month, and it'll be like a whole bottle of whiskey in one night. So where does that fit in on their forms? It probably sets alarm bells off somewhere.
Yeah, that's the binge though, isn't it?
Yeah, technically, I suppose if you want to stick a label on me, I am a binge drinker, because I'll go a whole month without touching a drop, and then I'll go, you know what, I feel like drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels, and I will, and that's technically binge drinking.
Well, that's what you'll be classed as, a binge drinker.
Yeah.
Whereas if I do go out, it's 2, 3 pints for a really good night, 4 if I'm having an amazing night, I suppose. If I don't notice it. I try not to hit the 4th, because I know my body knows where the limit is, and it kind of shuts down for me, so I can't get any more alcohol into it. So it's quite good like that. Right, anything else that you'd like to add to this, or you're all right at the moment?
I think I'm all right at the moment. I think that probably does.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you to everyone who's listened live in the Mixlr chat room. Thank you very much to everyone who's joined in on there and added their 2 pence. Thank you to Lee for phoning in as well. Thank you, Pete, for joining me for this one. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Is there anything you'd like to plug before I kick you off?
I am going to plug, as always, the fine works of Mr. Danny Davies. I'm also going to plug the LSG Media Podcast Network and the work they do over there. They've just finished a Game of Thrones run, and it's been quite a good run of podcasts, that one.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's everything.
Good. Well, you can catch me on the Black Dog Podcast. That's back next week at some point. I can't remember the name of the film. It's some very post-apocalyptic or pre-apocalyptic.
Oh, see, Angela Lansbury's World of Death or something.
Yeah, I can't remember apocalyptic what it was. Season. Yeah, so join us for the reviews on them films that are over at blackdogpodcast.com. You can also catch me on the Grand Prix Podcast.com, where I talk about cars going round in circles very, very fast. And anything else I do is normally on RogueTwoMedia.com as well. So, I think that was it. Thank you very much again, Pete, for joining me.
You're very welcome.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
No problems, mate. And, I suppose it leaves me just to say, please leave quietly. This is a residential area. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.